Welcome to Formula World. I'm your host Dylan Shelley, and here's what's on this episode. First up on Formula World, Brown. I could see 4 teams disappearing. It has been revealed by multiple sources that the smaller teams in F1 are fighting an increasingly desperate battle to survive. Many F1 experts have suggested that tight budget restrictions are the only way to mitigate this issue. While no one knows the exact plight of the smaller teams in F1, McLaren team boss Zak Brown has given a first-hand account of how things are and how much worse it could become if F1 does not make the right calls in the coming days. This is potentially devastating to teams, and if it is devastating to enough teams, which doesn't have to mean more than 2, then it is very threatening to F1 as a whole. Could I see, through what is going on right now in the world, if we don't tackle this situation head-on very aggressively, 2 teams disappearing? Yeah, in fact, I could see 4 teams disappearing if this isn't handled the right way. He further revealed how a budget cap of $100 million would help and why F1 needs to take it seriously. Sports should be an opportunity for everyone, and with a budget cap of $100 million, that is possible. However, there is a divide within Formula 1. It's not 50-50, but about 80-20. The reality is you can survive with 80% of the teams, but you can't survive with 20. You have everyone at $150 million, and the strong majority, including one of the big teams, willing to come substantially under $150 million. While most teams are fine with an even lower budget cap, a couple of teams did not want to lower it any further, and Brown explained why without giving any names. And a couple of the teams are putting their sporting interests well ahead of the greater good and missing the point that they are really running the risk of jeopardizing the sport, and then we all lose. You'd almost think they are uncomfortable about having a fair fight with teams that maybe they aren't. You'd almost think they are uncomfortable about having a fair fight with teams that maybe they haven't viewed as a competitor before, and they might be uncomfortable having a fair fight because they have never actually been in one. It's like a heavyweight boxer who only wants to fight middleweights. While Zak Brown did not reveal any specific details on which teams are opposed to tighter budget restrictions, other sources have suggested that it is Ferrari and Red Bull who are against such a move. Can Leclerc live next to Vettel? Many in F1 consider 2019 to be one of Ferrari's more difficult F1 season in recent times. They went from being the team that seemed most capable of dethroning Mercedes from the top to having both their drivers beaten by Red Bull's Max Verstappen. Some people put this down to the intra-team battle between its drivers Sebastian Vettel and Charles Leclerc that led to multiple incidents on the track which did cost points for Ferrari. Former Ferrari chairman Luca de Montezemolo has delved into why Ferrari's season in 2019 went the way it did. He began by explaining why he feels Vettel made so many mistakes. Sebastian feels the pressure very much. He has to be supported by the team, but he is still very strong. He has certainly made some mistakes, but those mistakes are also due to the need to take risks. Charles is very strong, but I hope he doesn't get too carried away. At Alfa Romeo, we have seen that he is very fast and doesn't make too many mistakes. Now we just have to ask ourselves if he can live next to Vettel. He then gave some suggestions as to how Ferrari and its team principal Mattia Binotto can handle this situation. This will be a sensitive issue for Mattia Binotto. We have to talk to the drivers and make it clear to them that they are not driving for themselves but for Ferrari. Fast feed. Former F1 driver Mark Webber thinks that some drivers will be a little uncomfortable starting the season after what is turning out to be the longest break F1 has ever known. Former F1 champion Nico Rosberg is of the opinion that Red Bull's Max Verstappen is clearly the most annoying driver to run into during a race. Ferrari's Charles Leclerc won the latest virtual Grand Prix despite possessing just 8 days of experience with the online gaming format. He also revealed his admiration for F1 legend Ayrton Senna because he had a lot of talent but also worked very hard, which made him the best. F2 driver and Haas reserve driver Louis Delatraz has revealed that he doesn't have the budget to buy a seat in F1, so it has to come from performance. And former Ferrari chairman Luca de Montezemolo has revealed that Michael Schumacher tried to convince Ferrari to get Vettel in 2009, but he was seen as too immature and the team instead preferred Alonso. Is it a good idea to keep Leclerc and Vettel as teammates? Be sure to vote in the poll and let me know what you think in the comments. And if you like this video, feel free to subscribe and check out my others for all the latest in the world of Formula 1.